All right.
This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Rachel Fife.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Now, if you're looking for a community of like-minded individuals living a spiritual lifestyle in today's modern world, well, that community could be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Dr. Alice Reed, Spiritual Director at the Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley. Alice, how is it going today?
Oh, I'm having a great day. It's so good to meet you, and I appreciate your invitation to come on your podcast.
Well, we're happy and excited to learn all about the community and the business, and I would just love for you to tell us about the Spiritual Living Center there.
Sure. We're called Center for Spiritual Living, and we're in the Capistrano Valley area. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, and we've been around for about 100 years. So we're relatively new on the spiritual front. Uh, we used to be called, back in the 20s when we were founded, we were referred to as religious science or science of mind. But we felt Centers for Spiritual Living was a more broader representation of what our community is about.
Wonderful. How did you get into this business?
Well, it doesn't feel like a business as much as a calling. Um, and and I've actually been a spiritual seeker most of my life. And I had an experience. Actually, my mother was going to a Center for Spiritual Living, and she would call me and say, "Oh, you'd really like what they're talking about. It's not religious, it's spiritual, and it's really up your alley." And I was like, "Yeah, ma, sure." And then something happened in my life, and it happened in all of our lives. Actually, it was when we had the tragedy on 9/11, and I was working in D.C. Wasn't feeling very spiritual at the time, but I think that tragedy really woke me up to wanting to find more meaning in life. And so about a month later, I let my mother take me to my first experience with a Sunday celebration, and I fell in love with the teaching. It brought together all the different things I had studied, and it was a philosophy that was inclusive. It included the teachings of Buddha and Jesus and Krishna, and was very, I'd like to say, interspiritual. And for me, that meant a lot. That meant a lot. That was one of the reasons I was turned off by other spiritual paths. I didn't feel they were inclusive enough.
That's lovely. What are some myths or misconceptions do you think regarding the community or the Center for Spiritual Living?
That's a great question, Rachel. I think one of the misconceptions is that because our founder was Ernest Holmes, who passed in the early 60s, and he wrote a book called The Science of Mind. And we were called religious science for many years until about 15 years ago. And we often would get confused. People would confuse our philosophy with Christian Science or Scientology. And so to differentiate ourselves, we changed our name to Center for Spiritual Living. And I think it's, as I said earlier, I think it's an apropos name for a movement that really brings people together to expand their consciousness and their awareness, and to study metaphysics, and to empower them spiritually.
Wonderful. Well, we know marketing is really kind of the heart of every business. And how are you guys kind of targeting your members or your community, or attracting people to the community?
Well, a lot of people find us when they're searching, right? So I get a lot of people saying they found our website and wanted to check us out. People learn about us through the classes that we teach. A friend will say, come and check out this class. People will show up on a Sunday to listen to the wisdom talk. So a lot of it's word of mouth. We do a little advertising. And marketing it's sort of like when you're in the industry, if you will, that I'm in. It's marketing is a little bit odd. We're not trying to sell you a product. We're really just trying to create an environment and provide a service for people who really want to live a life that is centered in consciousness and mindfulness.
Wonderful. Have you ever thought of doing your own podcast?
Well, I do blog on Substack, so I do that, but I haven't thought about podcasting necessarily, although every Sunday my wisdom talks are, we do live stream them to Facebook and to YouTube, and they're available to the public, and certainly we could take, sound bites out of that and create podcasts easily.
Wonderful. Well, outside of, this community, what else do you like to do for fun?
Well, lately I've been enjoying camping. I don't know about you, Rachel, but boy, I spend a lot of time in front of devices. I'm a spiritual leader, so I'm working with community members. I'm going to meetings. I'm teaching classes. Some of them are online. I do hybrid classes, emails, phone calls, and so being out in nature really gives me an opportunity to really come home to myself and to let go of the distractions. And there's nothing like cooking a meal over an open fire. I was recently up in Big Sur amongst the redwoods, and we really have a beautiful state here. There's so much to see, and I've only been living in California for about 8 years, so I've still got a lot to learn about this.
A lot to explore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Alice, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember about the Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley.
Just one?
Yeah. Well, no. You share more than one.
Well, I think that the tagline that I like is that we're trans-denominational or interspiritual, that we're spiritual, not religious, and that we're inclusive and welcoming. We have a community that when people come to our community for the first time, the comment I hear over and over again is they felt very welcomed and embraced. And so for people who are looking for community, especially after the last 5 years that we've had, our community is a great place to come and feel welcomed and part of.
How can our listeners learn more about the Center for Spiritual Living in Capistrano Valley?
We have a website, and it's actually the initials of our name, so it's cslcv.org. And on the website is our address. You can go on to Facebook and look for us there. You can find us on YouTube. Our website will easily direct you to those places. You can drop into our office space. The address is right on the front page of the website. We're there Monday through Thursday, 10 to 4. You can come to a Sunday celebration of life. We meet at, we have meditation at 10 a.m. And then we have a wonderful celebration with live music, a full band, different soloists every week, beautiful, inspiring music, and then some spiritual practice and a wisdom talk by me. And we actually are currently meeting at the Baha'i Center. We are not Baha'is, but they don't meet on Sundays, and so we're cohabitating in their beautiful location right here in San Clemente.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Alice, I really appreciate you being on the show, and we wish you and the center really all the best moving forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rachel, and I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit more about what we bring to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnporangecounty.com. That's gnporangecounty.com or call 714-941-8862.
That was great.